cats, it's your midsole man Ed Big Budski here. I've been testing out a whole bunch of Max cushion shoes over the last 12 months, impact protecting models from a variety of different manufacturers. Today I bring you my grades on all the high stacked midsoles over the last year. We got loads to get through, so let's get to it. Thanks for joining me on the channel, people. It's always appreciated. In fact, last month was probably one of the most viewed months ever on the channel. I think it's about 1/3 of a million views or something, which is absolutely crazy. Or at least that's what my wife thinks. Thank you if you have been viewing, watching, or give me a thumbs up or whatever. I do really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you've not done so already. Also give this video a thumbs up like, and drop us a comment to help with the YouTube algorithm. Dankeschön. Today, looking at the best Max cushion shoes I've reviewed over the last 12 months. I haven't reviewed all of them, but there's 5 or 6 here that I think are really worthy of a bit of detail, I suppose, giving you some more insight and my grades. We're kicking off with this big boy, and it really is. It's got a massive midsole stack. The Brooks Glycerin Max. Now, this is a shoe that I've gone back to time and time again. I really do quite like this one. It arrived in for testing a few weeks back, but it is a model I just really kind of like using as a kind of recovery shoe, as well as for easy and kind of steady running pace. Regardless of what some of the other online measurements are stating, this one's got about 50 millimeters of stack in the heel. For me, it is gargantuan. I've got a UK size 11, US size 12, so before you type, "Oh no, the sample size is this," well, that's what I've got here, and that's all I can talk about really, what I've got on foot. I think if you're a typical size 9 or something, the sample size, then you can always expect a little bit more from this. Whilst you go up like a 12 or a 13, they can be absolute monsters. I found the Glycerin Max to be exceptionally cushioned, and it kind of comes from the shell that you've got around that new DNA tuned sort of formula. Just seems to make for a really soft landing. It's very compressive, though perhaps not one that really shined for me on those longer efforts, perhaps where you want to do some speed work in there at the halfway point or something. It's just far too soft a shoe for that type of session. Now, one thing that really made this one stand apart from all the others is the grip that's on offer within this Brooks shoe. Some of the Max cushion models, the grip seems a little bit of an afterthought really, but there's loads of ridges here. The rubber's quite malleable. Grip, toe-off traction. I think if you're running on surfaces though with lots of little bits of debris like grit and little stones and stuff, they do get caught up here, so just something to be aware of. The upper on this one is very plush. If you like that type of thing around foot, you want like a sofa, great for recovery efforts or when the legs are just in need of some rest perhaps, or you need a little bit of a push to get out there. Perhaps it could be ideal if you're doing some marathon training and you just want something that's really over the top when it comes to cushion. Though I think there's 2 things that make this shoe a little bit prohibitive in terms of a pickup, and that will probably be the weight. It is on the heavy side for me. It's sort of 350 grams plus, and the price at 180, that's a lot to pay for like an easy recovery type shoe. Or I guess it might not be if it's the sort of shoe that enables you to get out there and get in those easy miles on those tired legs. I'm going to give the Glycerin Max from Brooks a B- though. So far, definitely one of the better Max cushion models I've tried out in 2024. The MagMax from Puma is another Max cushion model that I've tried out in 2024. Again, a gargantuan stack here. I had about 48 millimeters in the heel, though sadly this is a model that gave me a few issues in terms of my right hip. Not really sure what was going on to start with. I quite like the drop of the shoe. Maybe it's something to do with the shape or the geometry of the foam. Found the shoe was fine really for easy to sort of steady pace, but the sheer mass of this one coming in again at around about 350 grams in my UK 11 here. Maybe the shape of the midsole or something, but there's something there that's meaning I'm not grabbing it as much as I should have. The upper itself is very comfortable and plush. I do like this stretchy knit that they've utilised, certainly through the tongue, and there's a fair amount of padding there in the heel. There's also some really great grip on the outsole here. Puma grip, and it's quite deep as well in terms of the lug depth. But I think it's something to do with the very wide forefoot area And in terms of the heel as well, the surface area is huge on this shoe. It seems to be messing with my gait somehow, and it is causing me a few issues each time I've used it. The Puma NITRO midsole compound here is a touch softer than I found in the past. Maybe it's causing some sort of imbalance or something in my form, and some of these other max cushion shoes just aren't doing that. Again, this is a weighty option at around £170 as well. It's a bit of an outlay in fairness for what is some big cushion, but it's still a large investment. So it just hasn't quite set the world on fire for me here. A grade D for the MagMax. Lots of viewers seem to like this shoe, but I just can't seem to get it to work for me all that well. Now, when Saucony first told me about the Power Run PB in the new Triumph 22, I was very, very excited. This one certainly didn't cause me any type of imbalance in my running gait. Super soft plush upper here, lots of padding, and of course that brilliant Power Run PB material in the midsole. Surely it's like a no-lose situation, right? I've got well above 40mm in terms of stack here, though I think the main issue I found in this shoe was the drop. 10mm drop for me, it's just too much with this amount of soft stack. I think where the previous versions of the shoe have used Power Run Plus, and that's a slightly more resilient material than we have here in the Triumph 22. I think it's the squash of this material, just a little bit too compressive for me, coupled with the drop. Just felt like I was fighting against the shoe quite often. I was having to sort of tilt my foot even further forward than I normally would, and even at easy pace it just felt like I was putting in quite a lot of effort. Almost like you're landing in the heel no matter what you do, and you're getting this sort of braking action. So like a mid-foot landing or forefoot landing was a bit more preferable, but then you feel like you're not really making use of lots of the foam here in the back of the shoe. So I did like the plush upper on this one, found it was more of a recovery to sort of easy day option, not something again that I would want to use for a longer run, just the versatility lacking a little bit. And again, at £170, these max cushion shoes are not for the faint-hearted. There might be some serious depth here to the foam, but you need some depth to your wallet as well. A heavier shoe, a little bit lighter, I guess, than a couple of the other models in today's list, and grip similar to some of the others, but it's a bit of a hard sell. Maybe a model that's perhaps a little bit better for the heavier set runners. I always feel like I barely compress the midsole in this one. Perhaps it works a bit better if you're a heavier built sort of runner. You want that extra surface area underfoot, especially in the midfoot. I'm tall and thin, and I think some of these max cushion models for me are just total overkill. And if I'm taking into account other people out there other than myself, I think I'll probably score this one a C-. Just think it needs the right person to get the best out of it. Onwards and upwards. We got another Brooks model this time, the Ghost Max 2. I really enjoyed the original version of the Ghost Max. It was one of those sort of surprise shoes from last year, just seemed to really work for me, and I really like that slightly cheaper price as well. At $145, this one's just about right, I think, if you want to dip your toe into max cushion. See what I did there? Tons of stack as well, 40mm in my UK 11. Again, this model suffers a little bit from the weight issue. It's in fact one of the heaviest on today's list, though oddly doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel anywhere near as clunky or overblown perhaps as the Triumph. It's a more normalised ride than the Glycerin Max, and certainly more natural on foot to me than the MagMax from Puma. I think it's perhaps a better sort of entry-level max cushion shoe, more like a highly stacked trainer rather than some sort of test of balance and stability. I don't think you'll need quite as much adjustment to get used to the Ghost Max 2 as some of the other options. Again, as with pretty much all of these, I find they're very much mired in the sort of recovery to easy day sort of area. Certainly not really one I want to take out for the longer runs with a smattering of faster effort. It's just not going to work for a bean stick like me. But at least this option was a bit cheaper than the rest. I'll give it a C+ grade, just needs less weight and perhaps a slightly more minimal upper. Okay, I got one left on the list. You can't have a max cushion rundown, certainly for 2024, without the Superblast 2. It's kind of like Asics have listened to everything that I want about a max cushion shoe and just put it all into this one. It's lighter, it's nimbler, lacking perhaps the squash and all-out compression that some people might want, but we got a slightly more responsive foam here that returns to form a little bit quicker, sort of bounces you along. It's still suited to easy and sort of recovery efforts for me, but I can certainly take this out on a longer run and do some faster stuff up towards sort of marathon or half marathon pace. For me, it's not like a 10k or 5k shoe. It's never going to be that, but for me, it's a max cushion shoe that isn't really heavy. This one's still below 300 grams, which is nuts. 50 or 60 grams lighter than all of the other shoes on today's video. Though it is the most expensive by about 20 quid. Actually, that's not that much when you think about it. If you can find it, that is, that's the most difficult thing to do, is actually find a pair to buy. Even if you've got the money, I think you might be able to get a few of these in smaller sizes perhaps right now. There was a new drop only earlier this week, but all the other stuff in today's video is easily available. I think the Ghost Max 2 is probably under 100 quid right now, so that's like half the price of the Superblast 2. That said, this one's got to have an A rating from me. Exceptional grip on this one. They really have improved things. The midsole combo just screams versatility. Easily the best max cushion model that I've tried out in 2024. Okay, that's all of the max cushion beasts that I've been rocking this year. I mean, there is the Fast RB from Puma, but I'm not sure I would really classify it as max cushion. It's an absolute monster, this one, and I found that I just didn't really want to do those longer runs in it. It's just too heavy for me, and a bit too loud as well. Let me know your max cushion go-tos down in the comments. Quick Christmas musical interlude for you. This one's from Shakin' Stevens. It's one of my go-tos at Christmas. It's called Rockin' Little Christmas. It's got all the hallmark Shakin' Stevens stuff in there, quite abrupt kind of lyrics, some excellent Telecaster guitar playing on there, some brilliant solos here, good sort of hand claps as well. Shaky always seemed to utilise those at any opportunity. There's some good tinkling of the ivories as well a little bit later on in the track. It's quite energetic. It's just got a lot of energy, and you know, there's a lot of Christmas songs that are a little bit like a warmed up bit of turkey or something, but this one is a little bit more like opening a brand new packet of Twiglets, gorging yourself on some After Eights and drinking all of your grand sherry. There we go. So if you like that kind of idea, then go and listen to Rockin' Little Christmas by Shakin' Stevens and you'll have a real ball. Thanks for watching today's video, people. Please help us to reach 1 million subscribers by clicking that button and also giving the video a thumbs up like as well. Make sure you drop us a comment as well to help with the YouTube algorithm. My name's Eddbud and I'll be seeing you